Hello, all you friendly people. Welcome back to the Jollymun Podcast. This is episode 27. It is a lovely sunny Tuesday day. I've just had a smoothie. So I went downstairs and I made a smoothie. It's one of those smoothies where, the smoothie makes it sound kind of healthy, but if you just use a different noun like milkshake, then it gives a much better indication of what it had. It had a banana, had some milk, had honey, and it had some chocolate powder and some peanut butter. Very basic. Wasn't even that nice. I definitely put too much in there because now I'm full to the brim of this mousse thing. It's like when some people they'll have a smoothie. It's kind of hip and dope at the moment, smoothies, and they'll put this and that. They'll maybe put some fruit, sugar, honey, this, that, peanut butter, all kind of quite desserty things. But then they'll put a load of lettuce or cabbage or kale in most commonly, just so it's green, because then at least it looks healthy, and then your eyes think you're healthy. But of course we're only about 2% eye, so we're not actually all that healthy. Just our eyes think we are. Deep down we know. Also, the part that of my stomach that I would like to think I'm healthy is my stomach. Wait, okay. Part of my body, of course, is what I meant there. But yeah, I've got some lovely notes here that we can talk about. For example, yesterday. Oh, well, no, it was about 5 days ago. I think it was maybe Thursday. I was going for a walk and I was wearing this hat, and I was wearing this big leather hat, kind of like a cowboy one. I can't really describe it. Kind of like a cowboy hat, where it's got the rim around it going round, and it's got you kind of look like, I don't know, like an umbrella on your head, sort of. And this dog started barking at me. This aggressive little terrier started barking at me, and I looked at the owner. I was like, "Oh, what's going on? Help!" Of course, it was kind of friendly, and she said that the dog doesn't like hats. Sometimes, she said, he doesn't like hats sometimes, which was, this dog's. It's great. It means that this dog has some kind of ethical process more than just, is the person wearing a hat? Yes. Okay. Now, stage 2. And then it goes through all of its ethics to work out whether it's time to bark or not. Because it only sometimes barks. The thing is, I was a little bit worried the dog may have some racial tendencies, but then dogs don't see colour, So, actually, it got a pass. And when we say the dog doesn't see colour, it means it. It's not like there's other people who say it. Oh, I don't see colour. Oh, I don't see colour. And then they go and stop at a red light. Of course, that's not what they mean. And I think there's one of my teachers said that she said that she didn't see colour, and I truly believed her, because she was part of the behaviour team, and I was just like, yeah, this person's worked with everyone, literally everyone. So I believe it, and she was very upbeat and friendly, and always friendly to me, so I didn't feel racially victimised. It's a little white. Well, I think I'm slightly above average size white man at that point. Yeah, that was a dog. Also, where I saw that dog, there was a pack of I don't know what people who smoke call them, but the things you wrap cigarettes in, like the paper. I think they said Rizzler, said raw or whatever, and I was like, oh look, imagine if I smoke, this would be kind of useful. However, I don't smoke, so this opportunity is actually null and void. And then I think it was 3 days later, I was with a friend and they did smoke, and they had this conundrum where they had something like they had tobacco but no paper, but it was a bit more complicated than that. But I really, it's a bit. I don't really want to go into it. He'd broken this proper cigarette. Like ones of those, I think they're called straights. Those Marlboro ones, the ones that are crazy expensive and have pictures of fetuses on the front. And then you go and buy them and then hurt yourself with them. And he was like, oh no, my papers are all manky. And I was like, I didn't really know how to be sympathetic, because it's not a problem I've ever had. But actually, I went back to where the dog had barked at me, and we found the papers that I'd found previously. So that was his lungs were a bit annoyed, his lungs started elbowing his ribs, being like, oh, for fuck's sake, really. But his brain at least was happy, I suppose. Also, I found a really cool place down at the marshes. It's really fun. there's like this big. So where I live, there's like these big grass fields, and there's a little kind of river. But river, remember, this river's going through East London, so it's kind of nasty. There's like trolleys in the bottom of it. Me and Nalin found a dead crayfish, like animals which are meant to be in water die in it. Also, I keep saying also, around about a year ago, this water's so horrible that there were dead fish, like a lot of dead fish floating in it. Loads. It was like the fishmongers had like throughout their stock or something. And I found this little perch. So you go across this big pipe, which God knows what's in it. And then on the other end there's like a concrete block, and I sit on the concrete block, and there's a river goes underneath the pipe. I look, you're gonna have to be there or be square to understand it. It's really beautiful. I was trying to listen because I've been trying to think like creativity. I think I saw a little excerpt from it on like a Joe Rogan podcast or something, but where creativity. 1 second. Sorry about that. I was experiencing discomfort within my sinuses, and I had to blow my nose. And Joe Rogan was talking about creativity and how like you sort of just, he believes that you sort of open your mind up and then creativity comes to you rather than you're like concentrating and you're being creative. It's kind of like something where you connect to another outer thing. I kind of believed it, so I kind of aligned with how I saw it, because when you're doing something creative, let's say I'm writing or sometimes I've been writing a short story. So I try and write not stand up, but I try and write kind of funny I like concepts which are funny. So I'll tell you one afterwards. And I find that I don't think about it, but if I just look at the paper, then an idea comes. I'm like, well, my brain didn't do that. That wasn't me. No way. That's too funny to come from me. Come on. Everyone's heard the podcast. 2 people have heard the podcast. That's not fair. I did get a bit ahead of myself there. But yeah, it was quite cool. So basically, I try and sit by this river, and in my head, I'm like, this river is the river of creativity. Now, you know how you would like dip your hands in water and cleanse them, and like, you know, kind of you dip the hands. I can see pictures of, you know, like religion where or sometimes they do it in religion where they kind of cleanse water over your face. And maybe also people wash their faces who aren't religious, by the way. And I was kind of trying doing that with my brain, like it's all a bit spiritual, really. Where in my head I'm like, all right, dip your head in the water of creativity. Load of bullshit. I write shit jokes. It doesn't really work, evidently. But the idea, for example, is I've written like 2 pages about watering cans, and I was saying like how the model of watering can that we have hasn't changed for a long time. You know, it's the same thing. It's just a spout, and you put water in the top. There's a spout, and then when you tilt, what comes out the spout. It kind of looks the same. It looks a little bit like an elephant, but not really. It tends to be made out of plastic. And then I was thinking, well, think about all the technological advancements since the first watering can. We've been to the moon. We've invented the car. We've got mechanisms which make sandwiches now, like in shops and things. We've really done a lot. But when we want to water a plant, if you want to, you could contact a friend on the top of if you wanted Mount Kilimanjaro. Bang. You could send them a text. You could even call them. They could see your face. They could show you the mountain in the background. That's a mountain in East Africa, by the way. But if you've got water over here, and there's a asparagus spurting springling on the floor, then it's difficult to get the water there. You have to use this rudimentary watering can. And I was thinking, well, surely we can do better. But then, of course, at the end of the day, all you're doing is moving water, so you don't really need anything else. We've got pipes when we need it. We've got hydroelectrical power. We've done a lot with, like, hydroelectrical powers aren't crazy different to watering cans. It's just... No, they pretty are. They are, actually. I'm sorry about that. That was wrong. That was wrong. What else? What else is this on this paper? Flour. Nettles. I like... Oh, yeah. I know this imagery is quite funny to me. So you know how flowers, they have petals, and the bees see the petals and they fly in and they're like, oh, give me your pollen, give me your pollen. Also, bees, that's kind of stressful for bees. You know it? Oh man, I've got it myself. If you've got honey on your hands, then everything you touch is like sticky. You know, it feels like you're magnetic. Everything touches you. Everything's attractive to you. But bees have that all the time. That's how they live. That's awful. They always feel sticky. So petals, and you know how on human airstrips we have men with like paddle, or women with paddles. You know, paddles. They're like little table tennis bats, and they got red and black, white sides, and I think, and they kind of wave the plane here, forwards and backwards. That's what petals are like for bees. You know, a little bit. It seems a little bit silly to. I haven't seen a man on airstrip doing that for a long time. I think that's kind of gone out of date. I don't think we do that all too much anymore. I mean, that's another job. Technology. We've lost to technology. It's another job. Gone down the drain. First of all, it was people in banks, and now we have ATMs. ATMs are pretty helpful though. Pretty good. If you can't remember numbers though, they're pretty useless. Or if you are a vulnerable old person or young person, if you're a vulnerable person and you get mugged, they're not great. Another drawback of the ATM. But for 99% of the time, they're pretty helpful. They kind of spit out your money. If ATMs had consciences, they'd be pretty annoyed because all they do is like give out money. You can't put money into an ATM, so they're just constantly giving out money and money and money. Probably a bit demoralising. No one likes giving out money, but we need to think. I think we need to think about money. It's more of like a more abstract idea, rather than, because in the past you kind of go, okay, thank you, I've got money and it's in my wherever it is. But if you think about it more, it's like you can do more with it. It's flexible. You can buy this, you can sell that, you can invest, you can do this. Then I think you're going to be more financially sustainable, stable. Sorry. Another thing with this creative writing that I've been doing is that I've got this idea where I want to write this. I guess I'm gonna call it a poem, where all the words work so well together and it's so fun to say. It doesn't, that you cannot read it once. So the words don't have to work together. They don't have to make sense but coherently. But when you say them, every single word leads into the next word in such a fun way that it kind of all dances around your mouth. It's great fun. But it's really, really hard to do that. That rhythm, that tempo, the syllables, and it all. Like, I've heard there's a comedian called Theo Von, and he's from the south of America, the south of the United States, and he's got this kind of twang, and he talks funny, and it all kind of rhymes. It rolls around the room, kind of language. It's really fun to listen to, and I've just been trying to like get the essence of that, but it's quite difficult because your brain's kind of like, Alfie, lime doesn't make sense when you put it. I know it rhymes with time, but lime, doesn't work, you know, and your brain's been like, whoa, just relax, and you're trying to overwrite that and make stuff up, but it's not very good at doing it. It's like computers, they can't be random. It's like the human brain, it tries to find reason, which I suppose is quite kind of helpful most of the time, you know. Right, when you want to get toothpaste on your toothbrush, your brain goes, hey buddy, you need to take the lid off. But if you're doing what I was doing, you'd be using like I don't know, earrings, and you'd be like brushing your teeth with socks, right? Like it's difficult. Even then, I tried to think of a random household item, I couldn't. It's like 18 in front of me, candles. I can see 5 candles. That I know I jumped from 4 to 5. That last one caught me off guard. I've got some sun cream to my right. Vaseline, some matches. I mean, that makes sense when you consider the candles, and also the sun cream, of course, makes sense because I'm Caucasian male, although I'm not all that pale. God damn, this should be written in the Holy Grail. You see, that kind of thing, but that was rubbish. But that's similar to, what the hell? Oh. Wait, okay, I've just discovered something. This is quite fun. So there are these little places near me where you put old books and things, and someone's put like an old book. It's what I write all my stuff in. Like this old like diary, and I picked it up because it had like blank sheets of paper. I need blank sheets of paper. I like writing things down. I try and write things down almost like a lot every day. And I've just found like loads of. It's got like a diary in it. Shall I read it? No, I'll read it another time. But within 10 hours, I changed my mind to not invite a loss. But within 10 hours, I changed my mind to not invite a loss of control into my life in exchange for a solitary day in nature. Okay. That was written in 2001, by the way. That's a long time ago. I wasn't born. It's older than me. Wow. I'm going to go read it now. So thank you everybody for listening to the Jollymun Podcast, episode 27. It's great fun. Though, I mean, once I'm back doing stand-up, this will become a lot more fun. It's just I haven't got... Nothing happens. And although I'm trying to be creative, it's kind of difficult. But yeah, I love you all. I really appreciate you listening. Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh wait, whoops, I need to end it.